Welcome to From Center Ice. My name is Courtney and the Blackhawks made a trade today. So it's been kind of a wild week in Blackhawks land, eh? This is the first trade that I'm going to be making a video about, mostly because it just happened today. I will be talking about some of the other ones that went on, but that'll be in a different video. But for now, we must talk about Chicago Blackhawks legend Mikael Hakkarainen. He is a 23-year-old center, and he was taken in the 5th round of the 2018 NHL entry draft by the Chicago Blackhawks. In the 2019-2020 season, he played 8 games for the Rockford IceHogs and scored 0 points. He played 3 games for the Indy Fuel of the ECHL, putting up 2 goals and 2 assists for 4 points. That is a very small number of games, and yes, while that season was cut short because of the pandemic, Hakkarainen also had injury issues that kind of derailed that season for him. Jump to this past season, 2020-2021, he played 6 games for the Rockford IceHogs, scoring 0 points. And he played 6 games for the Indy Fuel, again of the ECHL, and he scored 0 goals and 1 assist for a total of 1 point. So the Blackhawks made the very tough decision this morning to trade away Mikael Hakkarainen, and in return they got MARC-ANDRE Fleury? Yes, the reigning Vezina Trophy winner, MARC-ANDRE Fleury of the Vegas Golden Knights. Well, formerly of the Vegas Golden Knights, because now he's a Chicago Blackhawk. I don't know what is going on anymore. Every day I wake up, and at some point throughout that day, this team throws me for a loop. Most of the time a bad one. It has been a very hard 2.5 months. If you would like to hear more about that, go to the previous video where I talk about all of the things going on with this organization. But focus on the trade. So it was a 1-for-1 swap. Mikael Hakkarainen for MARC-ANDRE Fleury. Yes, it started out as a confusing move this morning. And then we hear that he really only wanted to play for the Vegas Golden Knights, and if he was traded, which he was this morning, to the Chicago Blackhawks, there's a very real possibility that he would just retire. Not that I would blame him for just retiring instead of playing for the Blackhawks at the moment, but that was a thing that was reported, and it is a very likely thing to happen. So why was this a 1-for-1 deal? Well, Vegas has cap problems, and very large cap problems, and MARC-ANDRE Fleury makes $7 million. That is a big cap hit, contributing to their big cap problems. And Vegas has a very good goaltender in Robin Lehner, yes, formerly of the Chicago Blackhawks. So they have made that decision to run with Lehner and get rid of MARC-ANDRE Fleury, again, reigning Vezina Trophy winner, and basically their best player in the playoffs this past season, and they didn't want to retain any salary. So the Blackhawks traded them basically nothing, because it was also reported, which again, everything about this move is strange. Mikael Hakkarainen, while technically part of the Vegas Golden Knights organization, will not go out there. He will still play for either the Rockford IceHogs or the Indy Fuel. So nothing really changed, except now the Blackhawks may or may not have MARC-ANDRE Fleury in net this upcoming season. I'm telling you, I don't know what's going on anymore, especially with this team. So remember how Fleury has a very large cap hit, $7 million a year toward the cap? Well, due to a trade that this team made last week, they were kind of running low on cap space. So then we get this wonderful tweet from Cap Friendly this morning. Blackhawks have used all of the $10 million cap space they had after the Duncan Keith trade. They're projected with $0.6 million in cap space, and after further signings are projected to be an LTIR team. So they would dig into the LTIR space held by Brent Seabrook, Andrew Shaw, those types of things. They go on to say, we currently have the club with the least cap space in the league. Yep, the Chicago Blackhawks team. who didn't make the playoffs, who had very good stretches of play, but you could not call them a good team, now has the least amount of cap space in the NHL, and they still have RFAs to sign. Speaking of their RFAs, they have made some very questionable choices, but I will put that in a different video. So now they have helped out the Vegas Golden Knights and once again put themselves directly in cap hell. I thought that we had finally escaped this after going through cap hell through all of the cup years. We were finally in the clear, things were looking better, and now we are directly back in it, and we are one of the worst team in the league when it comes to that. Things are going swell over here in Chicago Blackhawks land. But none of this anger or displeasure is directed toward Marc-Andre Fleury, one of the nicest guys in the National Hockey League, a very good goaltender, still an elite goaltender. He's 36 years old. He will be 37 in this season. He has a birthday in November. He was the first overall pick for the Pittsburgh Penguins in the 2003 NHL entry draft. He backstopped them to the 2009 Stanley Cup. He was the backup for the back-to-back cups, although he did play a role in both of those playoff years. And then he was the Vegas Golden Knights' first goaltender. They started their franchise with an elite goaltender, and while he did play backup to Matt Murray in Pittsburgh, he definitely reclaimed that net and showed that he still deserved that starting role. And he's been one of Vegas's best players since the inception of their team. And he was the face of the franchise. And then they go and trade him for nothing. And he found out about it on Twitter. I'm really starting to be out of words for every team in this league. Anyway, he has played 18 NHL seasons. He's got a career save percentage of .913 and a career goals against average of 2.55. In the playoffs, he has made 15 appearances. And by appearances, I mean years. He's only missed the playoffs 3 times. He's got a career playoff save percentage of .912 and a career playoffs goals against average of 2.53. He's nothing if not consistent. Consistently good. This past season, he played 36 games for the Vegas Golden Knights in the shortened regular season. He put up a 1.89 goals against average and a .928 save percentage. Ridiculous. In the playoffs, he played 16 games for the Golden Knights. He had a 2.03 goals against average and a .918 save percentage. Again, he was one of their best players, especially in that first round where they could not score goals for anything. So purely going off of numbers and how he has played lately, he is still at a top level, and it would very much suck to see him not in the league anymore. But if he wants to retire on the top of his game, I certainly wouldn't blame him at all. And of course, it is a family decision. He's got a wife, he's got kids. If he wanted to just not play that final year of his contract, it would make perfect sense. So when it comes to the cap, if Marc-Andre Fleury decides to play the 2021-22 season, the Hawks will have his $7 million cap hit on the books. If Fleury retires, that gets wiped off completely. So that's great news. If they don't have an elite goaltender in net, they have $7 million to work with. But here's the kicker. Free agency opens tomorrow. And again, the Blackhawks have 0 cap space. So if they had a player that they were targeting, they need Fleury to decide by like noon tomorrow whether he wants to play next season or not, and that's kind of a big decision to make. So don't expect to have an answer on that, and we don't really know what will happen. It's looking like he may very well retire, and the Blackhawks will have the same goaltending situation that they currently have and had last season. So it has just been a very strange day, hearing all sorts of things about this starting from waking up and seeing that this was getting closer to happening, and then all of a sudden it was a reality, and then seeing that he might just retire instead of playing this season. It's been wild! But what do you think? Does Marc-Andre Fleury play for the Chicago Blackhawks this upcoming season, or does he retire? And if you think he does play, how do you feel about that? Let me know in the comments. That will do it for this video. Thank you so very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you would like to hear more from me or from Center Ice, you can head on over to FromCenterIce.com. There's links to everywhere you can find us. If you want to listen to some more serious topics about the Chicago Blackhawks, very important topics that need to be talked about, the last video I posted before this one covers sort of my thoughts about it, and the last podcast episode that we recorded is Jacqueline and I going back and forth and sort of a longer format of trying to wrap our minds around the whole court case that the Blackhawks are involved in. Again, very important, and go check them out. Yeah. So thank you once again for watching, and I will catch you all in the next video. Free agency opens tomorrow. Let's see what happens. Bye, guys.